Hello, I'm Tanya. Today our topic is changes in temperature, pH value, and salinity affect the shortening responses of Caribbean spiny lobster to chemosensory cues. And it starts the Behringer argus, aka Caribbean spiny lobster. One kind of a lobster. The lobster is specific characterization, and the lobsters it has photophilism. It means he will avoid the light, so it prefers to cover it in coral reef and sponges and British feelings and the roots of mangroves. And how do a lobster infuse the environment? We see the pink heart. It is antennae. Antennae contains the chemosensory neurons and the olfactory receptor neurons, ORNs. It's corresponding to its smelling abilities. We magnify the antennae. We can see the sensilla, which mediate responses to conspecific cues, including irrigation and attraction cues. The rate of antennae tracking was used to determine the chemosensory ability. Blinking enhances the ORNs and will discrete sequence of chemical environment and bring receptor cells. The chemosensory cues is important for a wide variety of fundamental biology processes and behaviors. These animals use chemical cues to locate the habitat and facilitate checking, predator avoidance, injury recognition, and so on. So the lobster will use the chemical sensory cues to agree obligations and identify the suitable shelter. The lobster use Florida base as a habitat. It also supports variable fishery in Florida. In general, the temperature of seawater is about 25 degrees Celsius, and the salinity is 35, and pH value about 8. Human activity through continue alternation in the drainage and flow of the Everglades over the 20th century has decreased freshwater into Florida by 59%. It will change the salinity. Florida Bay also faces seasonal warm spells where temperature can reach 33 degrees Celsius. Gulf of Mexico were documented to have extreme changes. pH value range about 8 and 7. So when the environmental alternation, deep sea, it will affect some many species will suffer from destroy of the chemosensory fields. sea termites, and some freshwater destroys the dendritic portion of chemosensory cells. That is contact but does not kill the cells. So the purpose is we want to know the environmental alternation effect on the centimeters argus chemosensory abilities has not yet been investigated, and how short duration extreme events may affect well-documented conspecific driven attraction and avoidance behaviors. So the methods. The following experiments. Each experiment will use these 5 environmental conduction. One is control, the temperature and the salinity and the pH value. At high temperature, high salinity and low pH, and high temperature and high salinity. This is experimental choice chambers consists of a center, and there are 2 header heads. Two hand hangers. And so the first experience is use healthy conspecific pills, which means a healthy lobster. Push on the one side, and the one lobster in it. We will allow the lobster to have situated for 5 minutes in central. After 5 minutes, we will open the gate. Let the lobster to move freely. Yes. Move to 30 minutes. And the second experience is disease lobster is infected PAD1 virus. If the lobster infects the virus, it will increase the mortality of the lobster, and its shell and the impulse will become white and have a particle at the surface. So we put the diseased lobster in one side, and a healthy lobster in center. At the same, after 5 minutes, we will open the gate, let the lobster move. The third experience is stone carps. The carps will eat the lobster. So the same. After 5 minutes in the center, open the gate, let the lobster move. So this is our result. First, healthy conspecific truth. The X is the environmental conditions, and the Y is average percent of time in shelter. We can see the control. Control trail lobster shows with healthy pills salinity more than seawater. Means lobster prefer filtration. But the high temperature, low pH, and high trap and salinity, the lobster will not
2 more minutes.
will not refer to attract because it's overlaid. But the high salinity and increase in salinity from 35 ppt to 45 ppt may not be sufficient to completely inactivate chemoreceptor neurons. The second experience, disease conspecific. We can compare with the control trail. Lobster decrease avoidance behaviors obviously in the four experimental changes. The third experience, stone carp. It was said, compared with the control trail, lobster no longer avoided the stone carp. Instead, it may close to the stone carp. So we make this scale. We can see the high temperature, low temperature, and the high temperature and the high salinity will lose the lobster's attraction behaviors and avoid disease and avoid the stone carps in the environment. If the lobster will lose this.
等等先。
Please show me the first result.
Yes.
Yeah, the horizontal line avoiding healthy, but that looks weird here. What's avoiding healthy?
Avoiding healthy.
Okay, repeat his question. What was his question?
His question is, what is avoiding healthy? To be honest, I read this paper, I don't understand what it means. So I pick out the information that I can tell you. So I'm sorry, I don't know what it means.
Next, Monica.
I don't know the chart of healthy and seawater. Why is seawater?
Repeat the question.
He asked
Her.
what is seawater? And in the methods, we put water in this chamber, and one side had the species, and the other side had nothing. So we want to know the lobsters what would she show? So one is healthy, means he will go to land, and the other is seawater, means he go to land. So there nothing healthy lobster.
Lily.
What kind of DNA virus?
Again.
What kind of DNA virus?
Can you hear her?
No.
Louder.
What kind of DNA virus? With all this,
Repeat.
She asked what is PMV1 virus? PMV1 virus is a virus that will cause the lobsters the voluntary increase their voluntary. If the lobsters infect the virus, so yes.
Linus?
Why is big X and small x different in page 9?
Page 9. This
I think it's
It's
19.
a 19 table page.
Repeat. Repeat this question.
can you
Why is big X and small x different in
Repeat this question.
真奇怪。
big and the small x? My mistake. Big and small are the same.
Jason.
Could you explain chemosensory cool again, and what's the relation?
Is it one question or two questions? Just one
two
question,
questions.
please. Just one question,
Oh.
please.
Could you explain chemosensory cool?
Q. Chemosensory Q.
It
Repeat.
CX is that the chemosensory cues. The chemosensory cues seems like the film. Just, when the species in let me think.
Sophia.
I want to know how do they control pH?
Okay, repeat.
pH, how do,
She.
pH, how do they control pH? They adding the CO2. I forgot. But I know they are not one day to control the pH, and it's about 7 days and add a little CO2 now. Second day, first day add a bit, and the second day add a bit to control the pH.
So first of all, you see that her slides were easy to follow. So a lot of images and keywords highlighted, large font, and so on. So these are nice. And then some comments. So first of all, there are some words which should be explained when you show them. For example, these words have been displayed many times, but most of the time it's not spelled correctly. So you should explain this word. What does it mean? And then sometimes you don't have this one, and sometimes you have a T here. So please check the spelling next time, because you use it very often. And the introduction part is good, but considering that you didn't finish your talk, next time I would suggest that you shorten your introduction. And while, for example, because you talk about these clicking things, but I don't know if it's in your results. Did you talk about the clicking rate or something? Did you? Because you didn't show your full result. My comment is because you prepared too many slides, you have to think which one should be removed next time. So for example, if your result do not have this thing, you can remove it. So it really depends on what kind of data you show to the audience. And on the other hand, like one of the audience asked what is chemosensory cues. So because actually here you did not really explain what it is. So next time please try to explain in your own words. It's actually like you smell something a little bit like that. Although it's not a real smell, but you can imagine that the lobster, they might have other sensory organ to smell that. It's a little bit like that, okay? So try to explain your own words in more daily lifestyle so everybody can understand. And then, of course, there's another, there are several pronunciations like crustacean, all right? And seasonal, so I will write down on the YouTube video so you can check your pronunciation. And then, as many of you might have noticed from time to time, you have this funny, weird change font style. You see that? This is 姓名体and this is Arial, so I don't understand. So it's really weird when you see so many different fonts on the same slide. It will distract people's attention. We want to focus on your talk, but you show us different fonts, so we cannot help noticing a little bit like that. So try not to give us this kind of distraction. 不要让我们分析啊。Okay. And then you have a clear purpose slide. I would say you talk too much about Florida, so you can make this part shorter. Is Florida a lobster habitat? Then you can just tell us it's important because it's a lobster habitat. Just keep it short because you have too many slides. Okay, and then regarding your method, I would say this is important. And I agree that you use 3 slides to explain what kind of experiments were done. But you miss one key thing, which is according to one of the questions. You did not tell us this means seawater, this means healthy, or this means deceased lobster, and so on and so on. So you should tell us the definition which corresponds to the spar here. You should tell us based on your experiments, okay? Based on the experiments here. Then explain us next time. And then you did not read fluently. The spoken part was a bit awkward starting from the method, and I hope that next time you can improve your script, your spoken part, right? And there are people from time to time. I cannot tell you all about it. So I will write on the YouTube comment. And next time, please also remember to introduce the spars, because in each of the figures they are actually different. So you should explain what's this. Okay, but I think it's really nice that you were always smiling. Maybe you were a bit embarrassed, but I like to see people smiling. So keep that. Okay, thank you, Tanya.